So, Rogue is the mid-month tier 3 for this update. She came out a few days ago, and I wanted to get her to tier 3 ASAP, but then I realized I was quite low on materials, and I needed a few days to gather them back up. I didn't know I was so low on tier 3 materials, actually. But whatever, we have her now, and I'm going to be showcasing her. These are the stats that I have. The crit rate is a little overcapped because of my obelisk, which you'll see later. The ignore defense could use a little bit of a buff, but whatever. This isn't a super invested build. Sue me. This is what I have. And you can see, obviously, I don't have any Uru on her, so, you know, it's not very well invested, but I think it's invested enough. I've upgraded all of her skills, except for the first skill, which, you know, it doesn't really do much when you upgrade it. We have a rank 0 type enhancement, a stage 6 power of Angry Hulk. Now, Overdrive might be a little better because of the buffs she gets from her 5th skill, but I didn't want to spend the gold to change it, so I'm sticking with this. It's not that bad anyway. We have a crit rate, mind damage, 180 proc, obelisk, a very PvE-centric obelisk, even though her kit is, I think, mainly designed for PvP. At least that's my impression anyway. So we have a legendary uniform also. I'm trying to get it to Mythic because at Mythic, I'm going to have 3 of the uniforms available. I should probably change this one to Dodge. But yeah, we have the Colossus uniform, the Odin uniform. Pretty well rolled here for the Dodge. And when I level it up, I have the Black Widow uniform ready for her to take advantage of. And the 5th option is quite juicy, so yeah. I thought I'd just go over the uniform effect over here. She gets a bit of HP recovery for 10 seconds. And she has a buff that is quite similar to that of Namor's, I believe, where her crit damage is increased by 100% on a critical hit. Where's that on Namor's thing? Oh, okay, over here. On his tier 2 passive. So essentially, Namor and Rogue are kind of rocking similar passives in that sense. Just in that sense, anyway. But yeah, I'm going to be trying to showcase how good Rogue is, mainly in PvE content, though I'm going to be doing a little PvP as well. Because I think ultimately that's where her strength may lie as a character. That's just a theory that I have before testing anything out. So we'll see how it goes in this showcase. So I wanted to take Rogue into a bit of Corvus gameplay because, you know, Corvus is usually the forte of a lot of speed characters, and I wanted to see how she'd fare in this kind of content. So while I'm showing the gameplay over here, I'm also going to be discussing in the background what's great about her new kit, what are the strengths that she has, and how I decided to play her to try and get the most out of what is available with her new uniform and her tier 3. So, what do we have to work with? The new uniform gives us a few changes to her skills. Her 5th skill, you could say, kind of got a nerf from her previous uniform, in that there's a lot less text. It still has 35% all attack, all defense buff with the 15% all speed buff, but it's missing the 55% all defense down. Now, this isn't necessarily a problem because the 55% all defense down was moved to the 4th skill, and the 4th skill also has reflect that is attached to it. So it's not that she's missing a lot of the stuff she has from her previous uniform, it's that it's kind of just moved around in this sense. Her 3rd skill, now this is one that looks quite juicy because it's a counter-attack skill. Netmarble has loved putting those in characters as of recently. But yes, it's a counter-attack skill which has accumulation based on damage dealt to opponents, paralysis, and a 70% chance to penetrate everything. This is why I think her kit is mainly targeted for PvP, a strong PvP presence, but this type of skill can also work for PvE content. The tier 3 skill that we are working with doesn't have much with regard to PvE content. Yes, there's a juicy 70% ignore dodge rate, but that's useful for Corvus and Null in particular for PvE. It's mostly for PvP. There's no accumulation, there's no all defense down, there's no resistance down, but this doesn't mean that the tier 3 skill isn't good for PvE as well, which you will see in a lot of instances in the gameplay here. You'll see that the tier 3 skill hits pretty damn hard when you land it on the proc. Now this run that I have with Corvus is still a little bit suboptimal because I'm still kind of learning how to play with her, but as you can see, she is doing very well here. You know, a little around the 2-minute mark, she is killing it. And this is a stage 80, you know. This isn't the stage for slouches. This is quite competitive, and I think this is an indicator that Rogue is, at the very least, not bad at tier 3 when it comes to this kind of content. You know, see, she clears it, no problem. I don't know why the creating purifying wind is still there, but whatever. We move on. Now I'm going to be testing her against Null, and I think this is where I am more interested in, because at this point for my account, all I really need is faster Null clears, faster or higher Null clears, and I'm hoping maybe Rogue is able to contribute to that. So let's see if she does here. I've decked her out with a Magneto lead and a Mystique support that gives her a full team up buff. So you can say it's quite stacked in her favor. This is a stage 2. It's pretty simple usually for me to clear. So this should be a good test of how well she performs against Null. Another interesting thing about her kit now is that everything is basically elemental damage, which makes a CTB of Judgment potentially good for her. I don't know if it's the best. Rage would probably still be better because she can take advantage of it so well, just like Captain Marvel. This is of course due to her tier 2 passive, which improves the buffs that she gets and the duration of those buffs. But unfortunately for me, I'm just rocking a normal obelisk. That's what we've got to work with, and I think it works quite well with her. Now the rotation I try to follow to try to get the maximum efficiency out of her kit is to do 4 cancel into 3 cancel into 5 on a normal rotation. Now with the tier 3 skill loaded, we do 4 cancel 3 cancel 5 cancel into the tier 3 skill in order to get that 35% all attack buff alongside the tier 3 skill. This is kind of just what I'm comfortable with, and I think it's what's been working for me in the time that I've had to test her out against PvE bosses. I think it worked quite well against Corvus, and I think it's working well enough against Null. At this point, I was a little concerned that maybe Rogue wouldn't be able to clear it in time because it's not so fast. Maybe if at this point she was at the 3 minute 50 second mark, or 3 minute 40 second mark maybe, I'd be more convinced that she's able to clear it. But yeah, at this point I was thinking she is going a little slowly, and there are fears that she wouldn't be able to clear Null. So that's a little concerning, but then considering that she is an 800 CCF tier 3, is that a reasonable expectation? I mean, I was impressed with Cable in the time I tested him, but he is not an 800 CCF tier 3. That's the thing. But then if I compare it to, like, well, is it really fair to compare to Sharon? Sharon's another 800 CCF, right? And I do use her regularly to clear Null content. Maybe it's an unfair bar to put Rogue up against, but it is what I need for my account right now, so I'm kind of strict on this. And if you see here, she kind of was too slow to move Null into the next phase, and kind of allowed him to do another one of those tendril attack things, and which is significantly hampering her time here. At this point, I'm thinking like she's not going to be able to clear it. She's going to have to go through the dragon phase afterwards, and she's going to have to go through the Thor attacks phase as well, which both of those phases eat up a significant chunk of time. Now, maybe Rogue isn't the best for Null. Now I'm thinking, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. There are other pieces of content to be good at, but at this point it's really a hot piece of content right now. It's the hardest one, and you know, a lot of the value of characters in the game is going to be based on how well they can do the hardest content in the game, which is this. At this point, I was pretty sure, almost sure, that she wouldn't be able to clear Null. It's just not going fast enough. And her damage is very bursty and quite reliant on her tier 3 skill, I think. As you can see, look at the bars melt when her tier 3 skill is used. Yeah, she died, but she wasn't clearing it anyway. But yeah, her tier 3 skill does a lot of damage against Null. So there's some potential there. Maybe I'm just not using her right, but I think based on the way I'm playing her and my build on her right now, she doesn't look like she'll be a regular Null clearer. She just doesn't look like she's a proper fit for the content, which is not terrible, but it's a little disappointing, I'll have to admit. Now, as you can see, I did bring Rogue into a bit of PvP content to see how well she'd fare there, because I was thinking that if she had any place in the meta, it would be in PvP content, probably. And I will say that she does have a little bit of potential, but based on what I was able to play, I don't think she'll be like a top tier choice anytime soon. I feel like there's just so many better characters that you can use. Sentry, Jean, Silver Surfer, Dormammu, I think are all much better. Even Hulk, even Hulk is a lot better, and he doesn't have like a revive or anything like that. I don't know. I'm just a little disappointed in how Rogue fares in PvP content, and you'll see that I'm having trouble here. Yeah, I was able to beat a couple of the heavy hitters in some of the clips here, but I feel like she lacks both the damage to be able to kill a lot of the heavy hitters, and she lacks the survivability to take hits from any of them. She's lacking in both regards, I think, which to me doesn't sound like she's going to be a great PvP character. And yeah, my kit is not necessarily built for PvP, but I don't know how it'll go if I did build her for PvP. Like, I have a proc on her right now, and she's still not hitting hard enough. If I change to an invincibility proc, for example, she would hit for even less damage than she's doing now. How do we reasonably expect her to be able to clear that type of content? And then you might say, oh, maybe a CTP of Greed or a CTP of Destruction might be what she needs. And then her survivability takes a massive dip. So, to me, it doesn't seem like she'll be a PvP beast either. I'm not saying it can't work. Surely it can work. The counterattack skill is definitely promising, and the heal is good as well, but the heal also, again, it's quite inconsistent. You can't really rely on it to help her survivability, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I'm underrating her a little bit in PvP, but just from the testing I was able to do, it doesn't seem like it's happening for her. Like, the way timeline is right now, you can run 3 characters. Let's say a support like Colossus or Mystique or Taskmaster is in one of your slots. That leaves you maybe 2 more. You can add another support, or you can add 2 main hitters. Let's say you add 2 main hitters then. Is there any reason you run Rogue over someone like Sentry or Jean? Well, let's say that they're too expensive. Is there any reason you run Rogue over someone like Hulk? Even like Wolverine? Or someone like Quicksilver? I don't know why you do that. I don't know why you do that. I don't see a reason for that to happen based on my gameplay of Rogue. Look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just playing her wrong. Maybe she's actually a beast for PvP. I'd love to be proven wrong. But this is kind of just what I see from this showcase. So, closing thoughts on Rogue. She's not bad, but ultimately I do feel a little disappointed. And I kinda wish I didn't tier 3 her and maybe saved my resources for someone else. She just doesn't excel in any of the content I need characters to excel in. That's kind of the gist of it, that's kind of the summary, and at this point I expect to just never use her from this point onward. Maybe in squad battle, the mutant speed female day, you know, maybe there. But that's about it. That's as far as I see myself using her. So yeah, that's about it for the showcase and my judgment of Rogue. If there are any Rogue users out there who would like to dispute my claim that she's a little disappointing, feel free to. I'd love to, I'm all ears. I'd love to know that the investment I put in wasn't a waste. But at this point, not gonna lie, it kind of feels like it. So yeah, I hope this video was informative. I hope I was able to show the capacity of Rogue to do content in the game. And as always, thank you so much for watching.